All right, so Candy Simonson, who so many of us know already, a woman who needs no introduction. I told her I was going to say she needs no introduction, then I was going to walk off. Candy writes inspirational Christian fiction and nonfiction. Her award-winning short stories and essays have been published in 7 anthologies, and over 400 articles have appeared in national print and online magazines. In the style of Laura Ingalls Wilder meets Jan Karan, her YA trilogy is based on true events. Love's Journey Home was published in 2013. Love Looks Back and Love's Amazing Grace, 2015. Other books include A Quick Read, Thoughts for Evening Time, All Beautiful Creatures, Food Hacks, Hints, and Helps, Runaway, a novel, and Finding Your Superpowers. Now retired from a career as a computer trainer, she lives in Stratford with her husband, where she writes full-time and assists other authors in formatting their books or designing book covers for self-publication. So let us please give a warm welcome to our dear friend, Candy Simonson.
Not to read all of that.
But I read fast.
We have some lights. I can't follow order.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about Write for the Internet, and I want to make this an interactive session. So if you have questions, raise your hand and let me know if you have a question while I'm going, and we will try to get it answered if we can. So can you really write for the internet and get paid? Or is this a dream and too good to be true? Well, we're going to find out today and see if this is something for you, because content writing is different than creative writing. It may not be for you, but it might be something that you find that you really love, like I did. Before the internet, you had to get an idea. Maybe you can remember back when, an idea for an article or a story. You had to gather your paper. Hold on, let's see why this is not working. Your journals and your notebook and your pens and your paper and your envelopes and your stamps. Get it all together. What came next? You had to go to the library. You had to look up writer's guidelines. You had to find where to send your manuscript. You had to study and write all of this down. Research some more. Research some more. And finally, you were ready to type. And so type you did. Who had an IBM Selectric like that? I did. And so you type and type and type until finally you get to the end, and now it comes time to send it out. So who knows what an SASE is? Yes. Okay. I'll try this. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Put it right.
Well, it's for
Can you hear
the
me
Zoom
now?
folks, isn't it?
No, it's for,
Oh, it's for in here too.
no.
Put it to your mouth.
Can you hear me now?
No,
I have to hold it this way.
it's not on. Tap it and see
It
if
is on.
It is on.
It's just not very loud, I guess.
I don't think it's on.
Let me see. Hello? Can you hear me?
Everybody.
Talk right into it, talk kind of loud.
I'll talk louder. Okay. So now you have your story or your article ready. You have to send it off. And you're hoping to get a thin envelope, right? But you wait. And you wait. And you wait. Because that thin envelope, why do you want to get a thin envelope rather than a thick envelope?
Contract.
Sit back.
You want a contract or a check. You don't want your story back. So one day you do. You finally get a check. And congratulations, let's see. This is not. There we go. Congratulations, your story has been accepted. You are finally a published writer. Well, so now we live in a digital age, and things have changed altogether differently. We still have to do our research, but now we can do it online. A lot of people go to Google because that has a lot of information, but I don't like my information tracked and I don't like it sold. So this is just me, but I go to DuckDuckGo. Whether you use MS Word or a typewriter, no matter what you type on, you now can do it all online. And now it's time to send in your story or article. So a lot of it's the same. You still have a cover page and you send that in email. You attach your manuscript rather than sending it off in an envelope. You make your pitch right in the body of the email. You put your bio under your name. Everything's online. And all you have to do now is click send. What comes next? Well, you wait. And you wait, and you wait. I have waited sometimes 1.5 years before I hear from an editor. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes they've forgotten about you. So it's best to just submit it and forget it. So in the digital age, you can write for a number of places, whether you do it on blog, Facebook notes, LinkedIn, Twitter, Tumblr, StumbleUpon. You can even belong to different writing communities and write online. But do they pay? No. All of this is for free. So why would you want to write for the internet? Well, for one thing, it gets your name out there. It publishes your thoughts. It exposes your writing style and your credibility, even if you have a blog. And it serves as writing credit because once it's on the internet, it has been published. So if magazines ask you for credits or for clips or for samples, there it is, right there. You already have it. John, you're going to have to put that up. But why not get paid to write instead? Is it guaranteed? Well, yes, it can be. You can get paid to write for the web. It's called content writing. A content writer must know how to research quickly. They must be original in their writing and find unique angles. You must know how to use search engine optimization. These are the keywords. These are the things that people look for when they're going on the internet. So you need to know how to use those. You must have good time management skills, and you must know how to edit your own writing. MS Editor and Grammarly are a great help. If you've not used those before, I would recommend it. You see, content writing is marketing. You are actually promoting a blog or a website or a brand. It is a work for hire product. Content writing is copywriting, advertisements, product descriptions, press releases. It's also informative writing, web articles, travel articles, reviews, infomercials. You work as an independent contractor. It's a work made for hire. They own exclusive rights. It's a one-time payment, and there's no royalties. Ah, you say. So if you write an article, it's a work made for hire, meaning it's a one-time thing. When they buy it from you, they own everything. They can use it as often as they want, anywhere they want, forever. You get paid for it, but you can never use it again. And often you write under a pseudonym, so your name's not even really attached to it. So why? Why would you want to do this? Well, who do you think writes commercials for even TV and for the internet? People like us, writers. It's often places don't have their own writers, so they have to hire them out. And they will use places such as Crowd Content, such as Upwork, such as Text Broker. They go through these places to get content for their website or their blog or for advertisement. When I first retired, I wanted to write. I had no books in the works. I was not helping anybody at that point, but I love to research and I love to write. So I looked up some of these places to see if they were legitimate. And I found out they were. And I found out I really liked to do it because I love to research and I love to write. It made me a tighter writer because of the time constraint. Normally you only get 1 to 3 days. The word count has to be specific, and the APA style made me really pay attention to my format. Because I love to research, I learn something new every day. And it helped me with my time management skills because of that. And it was an opportunity to create a unique angle to a drab topic. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And it was a reward. Payment was assured, and that made me happy. Oh, gotta go back up. That's what happens when you click on the actual thing. This is Text Broker. Showed it on mine. There we go. But are they reputable? Yes, they are. They will pay. They pay you about every 2 weeks, and they put it into PayPal. I haven't written for them for a while, for actually a couple of years, but I still get every day an email from Crowd Content. I belong on a couple of teams, and so they'll give me an email saying, here are some places that want your writing. Those are pretty small to read. Some of them says top things to do in San Antonio, 10 items. They want 1,000 words. It's a quality of 3. They have up to 4 levels of quality writing. I am right now at a quality 3. There's quite a few other things over there. Over on this right side are all quizzes that they want. So if you like to do something like quizzes, if you get into your account, you can see that you can apply for work. I belong to just the one, to the writer's marketplace. They also want general copy. They want travel writers. They want medical writers. They want quiz writers. You can join any of these groups, and it's not a contract. You don't have to write for them. You can write as little as you want or as much as you want. That's why I liked it, because it was up to you. So here's one I got the other day. These are all for quizzes, and the quizzes are on how much do you know about classic cars? How much do you know about camping trips in the web? How about which Hawaiian island would you actually visit? They're all different. These pay a lot. These pay $78 per quiz. It tells you the exact word count and how much they pay. Yes.
How competitive is it? They're emailing you about these things, but is it an offer to you specifically, or is it an offer to
Everybody.
people? Okay.
Thousands, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, there's all kinds of people that are on there. If you go into it and see all of these, you have to grab them up quick if you want them, because others will take them.
I guess maybe my main question is, do you have to write the article, submit it, and then be turned down because you're competing with 1,000 other people who see it?
No, if you accept the article, then it's yours to write, and you have 3 days to write it. That's it. But if you don't get it in time, then no, you don't get it. They will tell you. And they sometimes will give you a chance to write it over if you've made a mistake or whatever. And other times they'll just say, "Ugh, don't like it, don't accept it." So after you do write it, these are some of the ones that I have written already. It tells me the level. They grade it. Once you get it back, they grade it on a 1 to 5 bars. I've gotten a couple here as I got better, 4 to 5 bars. And way back when, I got $23 for one thing, and I thought I did great. The other ones will tell you sometimes why they didn't like it. You do write under a pseudonym, and this is for your protection. If the client doesn't like your writing or doesn't like you, they can't come after you to your email. They go to the company, they go to crowd content. And so you don't have to deal with any of the clients in that way. They also tell on top, I'll tell you that in a minute. So here are some of the stories I've written. Create a Memory of a Lifetime was about a Hawaiian island. So it was a vacation spot. And they wanted to just get people to be on that website long enough to do some clicking. So that's why they want these articles. They told me it was only a 3-bar because I had too many quotations in it and didn't have enough information. Achieve Your Magical Smile was for a dentist. Why Are My Eyes Weepy was for eye drops. And this one, believe it or not, was for hypnosis. It tells me on the top how much I earned, what quality it was, how many words I typed, and how fast I typed. So they keep track of everything. The client said, "Thank you, you get it. I'm going to have you do all of my articles on my website," which, by the way, didn't happen. So that's crowd content. That was the one I liked the best. Upwork, I have not worked for a lot, simply because this is a job board. You put in your parameters, so entry level up to expert, you put in how much you want to earn per hour, and then how fast you can do it. And then you simply put that into search, and it comes up with all different kinds of things. So here was content writing. They tell you how long they want you. It's actually a job. So it can be for a day or a week or months, and you're working for them for that time. Again, that's why I haven't worked for them as much, because it is a job.
And what group is that?
That was
Upwork.
Upwork.
Okay.
Upwork. Text broker. I've worked a little bit for text broker, but they are very, very strict.
Yeah.
They want APA style, very strict. They look at it with a fine-tooth comb. They want you to use certain number of keywords. They'll give you the keyword, but they say, "I want you to use this 10 times within the article." If you're only typing one page, 250 words, it's difficult to try to use a word 10 times and not sound repetitious.
What kind of work would you get?
For instance, if I've written for dog food,
Okay.
dog food ad, so they want dog food in there 10 times, or they want nutritious,
Okay.
or something like that. They give you an assignment. You can look it up according to stars. Again, they have a 1 to 5 star on this one. So you can get up to a 5-star level. I'm at a 3-star level on this one. So when I look in the categories here, I can only see up to 3 stars of what's available. But what I liked about this, you can see all the different areas. They're pretty small. Animals, arts and crafts, automobile, business, children, computer, and on down through the line. So you can choose which topic that you want and then pick an article from it. What I liked was the miscellaneous, because it was all different. You could make up your own story, your own article, and make it into something interesting. For instance, the drab topic. I got one that said, write an article about this person, and they gave me the name. Do your research, make it nice, make it sound good. Don't put anything bad about them. Okay? I had 1 day. That's another thing. This one only gives you 1 day. So you have to do your research, your typing, your editing, everything within 24 hours. So I looked up this person and I found out he was an angel investor. Didn't know what that was, but I found out that he helped other people start their companies or their projects with his money. He was also a dog lover, and he made a dog park within a mall. So that's the angle I took. He is a dog lover. He loves to help people. And that article got published. So if I click on one of those, you can see these are all hotels. What they're wanting is a description of this hotel so that people will come there. You can also see they don't pay very much. You have a 1 day deadline, but it's only 1 page. You only have to type 2 paragraphs. And they pay about $1.58 to $1.92. That's about a penny a word. But they help you out as far as giving you a description. They tell you that they want it in second person. They tell you what they want in the first paragraph. They tell you what keyword they want in there so many times. So in a way, it's easy. If you can do a whole lot in a day, might be worthwhile. It may not.
Now, you said you've gotten up to 3-star. What does that mean? Is it like average? Or
Level.
is that-
The level of writing.
No, I know, but I mean, does that mean like an average that you have?
Probably.
3-star, because 1 star, why would somebody get a 1 star and then somebody want to do it or use them?
You tell me.
That's what I thought.
So, so if you've never worked for them before, what do you start out as?
You start at a 1. Well, you send them samples first. You send them samples of your work, and then they kind of grade you first. And then after you've submitted a few, then you can work your way up. Another thing with them is that you cannot copy anything. Of course, you don't want to copy other people's work, but not even your own. So you can't have a template. If you have something like for describing hotels and you want to use that same thing over and over, you know, well, it was this and it was here, and you can't copy anything. It has to be fresh content every time. I've also worked for some of these, expertscolumn.com. This sounds easy, but it's choose your topic, write an article, publish it on your website, and get paid. Easy, right? Well, this is clickbait. So you have to draw people to your website to read it, and as many people as read it, you get more clicks, you get more pay. Not really worth it. I've known a couple in our group here that have worked for them. I've also worked with Bright Hub, Hub Pages, and Capper's Farmer, which you can put any article you want on there. Again, it's clickbait. So maybe that's not for you. It is definitely pays, but not much. But if you can work fast, use good time management skills, do your research quickly, you can make it pay and make just extra play money for yourself. So content writing is exclusive rights, one-time payment, guaranteed. Creative writing, which we'll go into next, is first or reprint rights. So if a magazine takes your article or story, they have first rights usually, meaning they want to publish it first. Then after a certain amount of time, usually 3 to 6 months, I think it is, some of them have a year, they will give you back all the rights and you can publish it anywhere else you want to. And that you publish under reprint rights or second rights. I've published one article at least 5 times. It sold well. And I didn't really have to change anything about it. I just had to wait a certain amount of time. It's a one-time payment. You don't get royalties on it. and you hope to sell it. That's the difference. Okay, so what is creative writing? I'm going to take a digital magazines thrive on the quality content and credibility of authors. Did you know that every magazine is 90% written by freelancers, writers just like you? They want stories, they want poems, they want articles, a number of things. So what do you submit? You can do articles, stories, guest blogs, poems, fillers. Almost every magazine also has a digital magazine. If you have an article accepted, they will sometimes pay twice, once for the print, once for the digital. So we've always heard, write what you know, but you can do research. So write what you write best and submit that. Where do you find them? Freelancewriting.com is one place. This is it will show a bunch of different places that want content writing or writers needed for different things for remote work. This is like a job board as well. Worldwide freelance.com markets will also give you a number of places to go and sends you an email every day about that. The one I like best, and I get an email from them several times, probably a day, and I've passed a lot of these on to you through the newsletter and through email. They will say like 25 calls for pitches or 35 upcoming deadlines. If you click on this, it gives you 35 links of magazines, and then you can pick and choose which magazine that you want to write for. When you do that, it takes you to their website, and it will give you the all the guidelines and stuff that you need. Questions? Yes.
On that short story, is that, what types of short stories are, or is it just any genre?
We're getting into that.
Oh, well, sorry.
Good question. How to find magazines. Do a search. In the search bar, type, and why didn't that come in? Type in any kind of genre that you have. I have examples there, fantasy writers or romance writers, whatever genre that you have, type in that and writer's guidelines in the search bar. It'll bring up a ton of magazines, and then you can pick and choose. There we go. So I'm going to go on the high end first and give you a couple examples. New York Times will print love stories. Did you know that? Modern Love at newyorktimes.com is where you want to send them, and they will pay $1 a word. That's high. Woman's World will pay $800 for 800 words. That's $1 a word. They will also do mystery stories for $800 for 800 words. And one of our members has had a couple printed in there. If you like to do mystery, here's Alfred Hitchcock, and I think one of our members has been printed in that one as well. Makes it easy. You do it all online. Science fiction, here's an example for that one. 100 to 1,500 words. They want worldwide rights, but it says first worldwide rights, meaning they want to do it first. So you can't send in something you've done before. Analog science fiction. One of our members that was a medical doctor for his day job and a science fiction writer at night had many of his stories in analog. And one that a couple of you are familiar with, Fear from the Heartland, Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. This is horror or thrillers. you can go there. And this is more of a podcast, but you can write for them as well and get paid.
Not much. Any a word. Really?
But you get that exposure.
But you get the exposure.
I don't know, Steve.
So you can also do nonfiction.
I'm
We've
enjoying
been
it.
talking about fiction. This is nonfiction. And this is really where I got my start as a writer, was in nonfiction and articles. So you can write how-to articles. I brought some examples to show you. They probably can't see this online. I wrote for a lot of church magazines, and this was for youth workers. So I had a feature in this one, a how-to article called How to Keep and Get Teens Involved. So it can be on anything.
What is the name of that one? Ken?
Youth worker.
Oh, youth worker.
This was on another magazine. I just tore the page out. Accept the challenge, and it was for teaching kids. Another one was how to liven up teachers' meetings. I was a teacher. This one was in the Sunday School Counselor, and I'm very proud of this because I got the cover. This was my story. What can a toddler learn? And a 2-page spread in that one. You can write history. I had an article in the history magazine called Bowing to the Porcelain God. It was a history on toilets, and I made it funny. You can also do human interest. Another magazine was When Life Hands You a Lemon. Cliche, but they bought it. A woman's magazine brought How Do You Pray for a Turkey? You can do devotionals, and I've had quite a few in this little devotional. I know one of our other members has written a lot for Upper Room devotional. Good old days. If you were born or lived in the 1960s, this magazine wants all kinds of articles and stories and memories from the 1960s. Goodoldays.com, nostalgia. I wrote one on there on how Saturday nights are a lot different back then than they are now. Informative essays, this was When You Have to Wait. So see, you can make it up on any kind of topic. Some places want biographies. A few years ago, our area newspapers were doing a column on living better. They wanted all kinds of things. And I think I wrote for them every week for a while. One of the things I did was on Joe Levante, his biography on his magic tricks. I had one going on Jerry Mack too, and then they decided they didn't want any more. I also did one on Susie Adams and how she cared for her mother in dementia and then working with that. So you can see there's a lot of different ways that you can put and send in things to magazines. All these places want stories. So how do you send it in? Do you send in the whole manuscript? Many places want a standard manuscript format. And if you don't know what that is or don't have that, I have one available on my website. Do you query first? Do you send samples? Do you send it an email? Do you include your bio? Well, every magazine is different. So you need to look at their guidelines because they are all different. Here's one, makes it very easy for you. You send in a list, and you can see on the top there, bizarre, entertainment, general knowledge, lifestyle, science, society, even more. It can be on anything. Send in a list of 10 things, get paid $100. That's not bad. And you do it all online. You go to their website and you just plug it right in. Some magazines use Submittable. That's a free account. And once you go to Submittable, you put in your email address, you put in your cover letter, you put in your writer's bio. And once you do that, then Submittable will put it right in whenever you send in any article. Cricket Media. This is writing for kids. So if you like to write for kids, they have a number of magazines. They want stories, plays, poetry. They want nonfiction like facts, interviews. They want games, puzzles, articles. All you have to do is go to their website, pick the age group that you're working for, check out their guidelines, and hit submit. Makes it very easy. Chicken Soup also makes it easy online. You do everything right online, chickensoupforthesoul.com. But you have to pick a topic, and this is what they're looking for right now. It has to be a true story, has to be a feel-good story. If you use anybody else's names, you have to make sure you have their permission to do so. You do sign a contract for this one saying that everything is true. They pay $200 and give you 10 copies of the book. Okay. Fillers. And this is really a good money maker, in my opinion. Every magazine has fillers. If you pick up any magazine, you're going to see a place to send poems, puzzles, crafts, all these different things. So again, if you'll allow me, when I first started writing, I was 17. I sent in a poem, and this was to my denomination's youth magazine, and they published it. I got $7. I was so excited, but the writing bug hit me hard. I loved doing it. So poems, I sent in another one to the take-home paper of a youth magazine, or just a take-home paper. This was to another magazine, another poem. I've done a lot of puzzles, another take-home paper. This word search was in a food magazine. Crossword puzzle, Thanksgiving crossword puzzle was in a teacher's ideas magazine. Just got to know where to look. This was a quiz. Journal of the Ozarks published green tomato recipes. Got to put your thinking caps on. I even sold a song. Another youth leader magazine for youth leaders. This was an idea how to get kids together and have fun with them. A girls magazine took a game, fun game. And my last ones I'm kind of proud of. They will take tips. This was in Better Homes and Gardens. And it was a tip on how to get along with your neighbor. Woman's Day gave me a $50 for a tip on how to get along with my husband. And Woman's World published My Happy Place. $50 for a paragraph. I say that's pretty good. You just need to know where to look. I want to introduce you to Kindle Bella. I know Jamie has used this. Has anybody else used Kindle Bella? It's a new thing with Kindle. It's where you publish a story one chapter at a time. And this is kind of guaranteed pay as well. It doesn't have to be totally polished, even, sad to say. But you publish your story one episode at a time. So you have to have an Amazon account. and get your KDP, your Kindle, direct publishing. Tell us about your story. So you put in a picture of the cover. So you can have to find a picture first. You tell the story title, a little bit about it. You choose the category and the keywords that might relate to what would people be looking for to read. And once you do that, you just plug in your chapter, as little or as much as you want. It doesn't have to be every day. It can be whenever you get it out there. And you can see for only a couple of months, I've earned some money, and it keeps going on because it'll be out there forever. Yes. Yes.
If I was to use that on a book, would they do that on a book I've already got published?
No,
It has to be something new.
something new. And another question that I had was, I have one out there. Can I make a book out of it now? And yes, I can, but I have to wait 30 days.
Okay, so my question on that, so you, once it's complete, you have all the chapters in there. You wait 30 days after the last chapter.
Correct.
And you can now put it in a print on demand or.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yes.
Are any of these for children or are they all adults?
I would think you could do it for children as well. Yeah, because they're readers from all over the world. So it depends who picks them up and who reads them. Now, Kindle takes 50% and gives you 50%.
Can this be a short story as opposed to a book?
I think it has to have at least 10 chapters,
At word count?
600 words per chapter. Has to have at least 600 words,
At least.
at least. Yeah, if you get 599 words, they give you a little thing, sign, and says, not 600 words yet. So, yeah. You can go over.
And what's the max per? What's the maximum word count per?
I don't think there is one.
It's 5,000 per episode.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank you. So I have a couple stories out there right now, and one of them I haven't put enough, only 6 on, and the other one I put on 30 chapters. So you get paid according to how many words are in the chapter. What they do is they give you 200, they go by tokens. They give you somebody that's just signing on there and wants to read. They give you 200 free tokens to use on any book. Yes.
What about the number of people who read it? Does that increase your earnings or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because after they've used up their tokens, the first 3 chapters are free, gets them hooked, and then they have to start using their tokens to read the rest.
Oh, okay.
If they use up their tokens, then they have to buy tokens. That's where the money comes in.
Okay, got it.
Yes,
You said 500 words per episode?
600. 600.
Okay, but at the end, somebody said 5,000 words per episode.
Per book.
So you can't, it has to at least be 5,000 or it can't be more than 5,000.
That I'm not sure of.
Each episode has to be between 600 words and 5,000 words.
Gotcha.
Okay, so when we
This
say,
is on forever.
okay, so we're talking about chapters, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Okay, so last words here. Search for writer's guidelines in the magazine of your genre, if that's the way you want to go. If you choose not to do content writing, I don't blame you, but I really liked it. So read the guidelines of each magazine and follow them explicitly. Because one thing, if they say standard manuscript format and you don't have 1-inch margins all around, you haven't followed directions. They could toss it. Stick to the word count, no less, no more. Anywhere in between is okay. Make your words count and tighten and polish them. And know where to submit your story to. A lot of times it's just maybe going to the wrong department. Do you send qualifications or samples? Follow their guidelines because everyone's different. And then submit it and forget it. Most stories are not rejected because they're not good. You just haven't found the right market for them yet. How are we doing on time?
You're fine, you're fine.
Okay, so just a little bit more. Standard manuscript format. I have on my website some examples of standard manuscript format, as well as a formatted copy for you that you can just plug your stuff into. But looking at this was actually the story I sold for Chicken Soup. Does that look like standard manuscript format?
No.
What's wrong with it?
Not even the margins.
The margins,
Your drop case.
drop letters,
Not double.
Colors.
color. Okay, so here is what it should be, standard manuscript format. And some other hints. This is what you can get at my website, casimonson.com. You should double space. You should have 1-inch margins all around, white paper, white paper, black ink. Do not use fancy fonts or colors. In fact, even this one is not right. Even though it has the margins, even though it has my information at the top and the approximate word count, it still has a drop cap and it has fancy fonts. The best way to do it, even for doing it online, is to use plain text. And you can type out anything in your manuscript, your document, and then save it as plain text. Then it's pure text. It doesn't have all those computer commands behind it. This is what it would look like in plain text. And if you're doing it online and submitting something online, you don't even have to worry about it because they take care of all the rest. So formatting in standard manuscript format for the internet is almost the same, except that you don't double space unless they ask for it. No extra line between paragraphs. Please do not tab or space over for indents. It puts in computer commands that mess everything up. Use the paragraph settings. Only one space after punctuation and no hyphenation.
No
So-
hyphenation.
No hyphenation for online. And you really should use a web ready font, and there's only 6 of them. Okay. Any more questions? Yes, John.
You mentioned the APA, is that the American Associated Press?
Oh.
What is it?
American Psychological Association, believe it or not.
Know that, John.
Years and years ago, they created a standard list or formatting for citations and references and how to write dates and how to write time, and they have a standard list, and it's mostly used for journalists
It's also in colleges.
and the psychology.
In your master's level. They don't care.
Yeah,
The bachelor's so much.
a lot of them use the Chicago style instead, but that one I was telling you about, Text Broker, they were strictly APA all the way, and they counted, they checked it.
My reading, it just seems like everybody is using a different style, no matter whose book you pick up nowadays. And I read News of the World, perhaps you saw the movie with Tom Hanks. No quote marks are used at all when you're doing direct quotes. And I basically use Associated Press style, but I'll be honest, this one is new. And that's what most writers are supposed to follow.
Well, you're talking about books. This is magazines
Okay.
and online magazines and e-zines. These are the ones that are more journalistic in their approach, and so they have a more strict demand. But honestly, some of the ones, content writers that are content writing that I've done for this other crowd content, didn't follow that either. So it just depends on the magazine or the book company. Yes.
Candy, very early in your presentation, is every time you submit, you're actually submitting your story on their website? You're not sending them an attachment with your Word doc or anything? It's actually putting it right up on their site, like Chicken Soup was showing that, but most of the other magazines are like that. I think you were talking about how fast you type it and all that sort of stuff.
That was putting it on crowd content and going directly to that client, which I didn't know who the client was. They only have a number, but yeah, it went directly to them.
Are you in a situation like that? Can you just copy and paste off of your document that you developed it on?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
you're really fast typist.
Yes, Chris.
I was curious, one, there's a lot of different possibilities, a lot of different companies that you could submit work for. Do you have an idea of like what the niche is as far as like the number of readers, the following that they have? Like what are some bigger ones, the smaller ones? Is it a growing market? Is there more and more of this in the future? What do you kind of see for?
That's what I liked about freedomwithwriting.com, because they will give you all these lists. And a lot of times they've done all that research. And so they will tell you a lot of times which magazines are up and coming or just starting out. Alfred Hitchcock, I mean, that's been around forever. And that pays very well too for mystery stories. So some of them, I mean, you can recognize, and others you can kind of guess that they're not going to pay a whole lot. The more established they are, the more they pay, of course. Carolyn?
I want to go back to the Kindle Bella. I had never heard of that before, maybe because it's new, I don't know. But so I have a book for children that is on my computer. It is finished and it's been there for several years, but I didn't really decide what to do with it. So if I put that on a chapter at a time, how would I get paid? By the number of readers?
Yeah, by the number of
That's it.
readers. Mhm.
How do they advertise or market it?
They don't.
So
By your keywords, actually. So when you are setting up your story, it asks for a category. So you put in children's fiction or whatever it is. And then underneath for the keywords, you'd put in whatever you want to draw people to that story.
So they would have the keywords there that you put in, and that would be the important thing, plus the age. Probably a parent would see this and maybe do it for the child.
Correct. And it also goes on Amazon.com that way too. They will advertise it on Amazon. So that you could put it on your website or on Facebook or whatever saying, I have a new book out here, it's on, and give the link. It's on Kindle Bella, and they have to go out and find it.
Are they paying by pages read like they do on KDP Unlimited?
No, they pay by a chapter.
They pay by the chapter, so it's a set amount per chapter.
It depends on the word count.
Depends on the word count, yeah.
So people get the first three chapters free, you don't get paid.
You don't get paid for the first 3 chapters. No. And if they have 200 tokens to spend on your whole book, no, you don't get paid for that either, but they have to buy the tokens in order to read on further.
The meter clicks every 200 words, is that right? Jamie?
Say again?
The meter clicks every 200 words,
Every 100.
every 100 words.
Yeah, if you've got 699, they pay 6 tokens. If you have 700, they pay 7.
How do people put tokens?
Okay, let me repeat what Jamie said for those online. If it's 600 words, it's 6 tokens, right? 700 words is 7 tokens. So they pay according to what tokens they have to buy.
Most of the money they're paying right now is because of the bonuses that they're paying, and that is based on how often you post, your frequency,
how many, probably how many words, how many faves, which is people go in and vote, and how many likes you get. And once you put your book up completely and you don't mark it as complete and you don't have more chapters coming, then you still will get paid for whatever, people keep reading it. But if they don't read it, you only get like $10 or something just for cutting it up. But the bonuses, every month there's a bonus. And they're not really telling you what it's based on exactly. It's on those things somehow, but not, you don't know how they all weighted.
So I'll repeat that again. It's based on favorites or people clicking fave, this is my fave, or on likes. You get $10 when the whole book is completed, correct?
That seems to be the minimum they pay.
And then you get a bonus regarding whether you have favorites or likes or how many times it's been looked at. It's new. It's something that they're trying this year.
Now, did you do that, and how much money have you made with one book doing it?
So far, I've just got, I've been only on there for like 2 months, and I've made over $200 already. So I figure that's kind of good.
Yeah, very good.
Janie?
Well, I've been on there since the beginning, and I didn't know how it was gonna work. So when they called them launch bonuses, the first month I put it up and thought the bonuses were over, and I put up half my book. And then I didn't know this because I wasn't reading the community forum. And when they said, I don't know, they said, see it. But every month, but since then, they've been giving bonuses, and I've learned as I went along. So like right now, I've got 3 books basically up, and get varying amounts. 1 month I got like about 200. And the idea though, if you don't get somebody reading them, you're not gonna get rich. So somehow you've got to do that yourself.
So it's important that you market them yourself on Facebook or your website or wherever. So Jamie was saying.
Just to clarify,
Pardon? Yeah, they read them on a Kindle or they can read them on their phone, or
Mhm.
Android or.
You download them just like you do an Amazon book, yeah.
Basically, it's a serialized ebook.
Correct.
And it's
A
not-
serialized ebook,
It's
yes,
not just, you can also put on nonfiction. It doesn't have to be. fiction.
right. You can put on nonfiction or fiction. Conetta,
How many keywords do they let you post?
I think 7.
7.
Good discussion. Any others? One more.
One other question, Kenny, how do a lot of these companies make their money? So like, do they have sponsors that they're counting on, people that are reading the stories, seeing advertisers, or are any of these readers that want to access these stories that you've written? Do they have to pay to read or have a membership, or how exactly is that? Does
For
that-
magazines? Yes, yes, and yes. Everyone is different. So some of them have memberships, yes, so that's how they get paid. Others, online, I don't understand it. Maybe they have certain advertisers or something that
They
they,
have to make money in order to be able to pay you.
Correct,
So
yeah.
that's-
I don't care as long as they pay me. Yes,
this concept is not really that new. This is a way for, especially for your little blurbs that you're writing about a product or a company or a hotel. I've been in the magazine business and the automotive business for most of my life. But anyway, it used to be, let's say somebody was to put out a book on spring tabletop book. In the old days, they would hire one photographer, and he'd make quite a bit of money off taking all these pictures that they requested him to take. Now what they're doing is they have a photography contest, and your photograph is automatically theirs when you submit it, and then they publish the book, and they've paid nothing except maybe giving you a $200 prize for your winning photograph. PR firms, some are a lot better than others, but they're all very expensive, and that little 50-word product story that you're going to Holiday Inn somewhere that may cost them $500 from the agency. But all of a sudden, John writes one and he gets $50 for it. Well, he's happy that he got the $50 and the PR agent down the street is saying, why is our business dropping so much, just like the photo studio?
Exactly.
So they're picking up a concept that was used in the photo industry and now they're using it in printing. I've done a lot of that freelance writing for different companies over the years. And because they don't have anybody that can write short enough to have them out. So I don't know if that's, I'm just kind of looking at it from a historical standpoint. I don't know if that's any interest to anybody or not, but that's what's going on.
Very true. Yes, one more.
Question about student notes. You mentioned one site specifically that you recommended using student notes. Do you recommend it pretty much in general? Because we talk about so many different areas, and then do you pick one ultimate, identity that you're using for your online writing, or do you pick a different one for each type of writing you do?
And that's really up to you. I use the same one for all of my content writing. I used Ann Simon. But for my other magazine articles, I use my own name. So, and that's up to you.
Have you ever experienced a time where you regret using your real name?
No. Okay, well, thank you so much for everything.